YoTV, you know, when it's happening, you'll say it all happened by chance, but hindsight is always 2020, and now I have found purpose in how I stumbled onto television. But the story is, according to my mom, and I'll believe her because she's my mom, the story is, every time the taxi would go past the SABC, I'd be like, when are you taking me here? When are you bringing me here? To the point where she asked her sister, whose neighbor was Tulufele Buchemang. If you don't know who Tulufele Buchemang is, Google her, baby. She matters. Her name matters. She was on Kidio at the time. And so my aunt went and asked her, you know, how do we go about finding an agency and all these things. And then I joined Tulufele Buchemang's agency, or the agency she was a part of. It was called Professional Kids. I joined that in 1997. Went for an audition to join the agency. Then I did a 6-week training course, and the rest is history. 22 years later, still standing. You know, a lot of people would say growing up in the industry was a negative. You know, you never got to live your life and whatnot, and sure, it had its downfalls. But what I do count as a major plus is that I don't know what it's like to be hungry to be in this industry. I don't know what it's like to be 20-something and trying to knock on doors. And that's been a blessing in disguise, because I have the bonus of the naivety of this industry. Do you get what I mean? It's almost like dimsu, right? You know, it's not tainted, because there aren't men trying to make me do things to get a job. I started out so young that I've also learned and seen so many things. So sure, it had its downsides, but it really had more upsides than I can imagine. And so growing up in it, I've always been able to treat it as a job, an extramural. I've treated it with respect. All of this doesn't matter. The lights, the camera, nah, it's not about that. You have a responsibility and a duty to deliver great work, and that's what it's about. So dealing with the fame has been this is an acknowledgement of your work, and it is a byproduct. It is not what you're going for. It is not why you do this. It is not why you are put on the platform that you're put on. Our purpose, power, and impact. How do you discover your purpose, harness its power, and sit back and watch the impact? So I'm excited for this new chapter. I really, really am. I want to create platforms where people can learn. So I have a production company called Chimbiruni Productions. It's named after my mom. And Chimbiruni Ngachivenda means it's in the heart. And the vision for the production company is to create content from the heart with heart that speaks to the heart. So it has to be so genuine, so authentic, that is why I'm taking so long with it. You know, sometimes I sit and I'm like, you've had this company registered, but I'm very particular, and in that I may take time to do things. And yes, that is a, what is it called, a character trait and flaw that I note of myself. But I don't want to just create content for the sake of it. You know, I look at something like Disruptive Natives, and then I'm like, yeah, that's content that matters. Whether 5 people watch it or 5,000 people, we've impacted those 5, we've changed the way that they think, we've challenged the way that they think, or we've helped them find a new perspective on something they always knew. That's the kind of content I want to create. The changes we've seen in how people consume media, and I mean viewers and listeners alike, and how people consume content is a plus for us. You know, it's you know, when you think about in marketing or whatever, in business, when they teach about the barriers of entry, the barriers of entry were high, they were expensive, they were a lot, they were complex when it came into the media space, you know. And now we've gotten to a place where we had platforms where you can create your own podcast like this. You don't need to first sign up to this one, who must first say, but what is this about and whatnot. You are able to literally have the power of creating the kind of content that you want to create for the consumer that you want to have it at the touch of a button, a click of a button. And with that comes earning power, right? Because if you've now created something that audiences are hungry for, and you are now able to start earning revenue of that, is that not what we all want? True ownership and ability to earn from what it is that we have created, which is something that we were not able to do in the past. You know, all you could do back then with television, and still mostly now, is your show is either commissioned, it is an AFP, so it is advertiser funded programming, or what was the other one, licensing. And a lot of us may have wanted to play in the licensing space, but the question was, it's too expensive, I don't have the equipment to create this, I don't have, you know, you couldn't even create the product. But you find yourself in a space where you are able to, and what's important is that as a creative, you also need to be able to tap out of your creativity and into the business, so that you can see what other spaces can you tap into to allow your creativity to flow. What I mean by that is that, cool, you have an idea, but you don't have the lights, the cameras to create it. You know that you can apply for grants where they don't give you money, they can buy the equipment for you. But because you're so focused on that you need the rands and cents in your bank account, as a creative, you don't look, or even just as a young person in general actually, you don't look beyond the spaces and places that would be able to give you something that is not money. And as a generation, I find that we sometimes tune out when someone can't give you money. But do you understand that applying into a grant program that teaches you about marketing helps you? Do you understand that applying into a program that teaches you about leadership helps you? Applying into a program that puts you in touch with mentors from different industries pushes your thinking. But because we don't have the tangibles, we feel that it adds no value in our creative process. And that's a problem. So I think in the change of the landscape, and now that we have this opportunity, and look, it is a gold mine what we've landed on. I'm not saying that it is without its challenges. They obviously are challenges. I mean, to start a program and you've got 5 viewers and you're just like, how are we going to get to 500,000? The point is, you need to start. I mean, that's advice I need to be telling myself, but as Kolapo. You need to start, and you need to be able to view the entire ecosystem and understand that there is so much more opportunities than just broadcasters. There really is. There is distributing your content to mobile networks, you know, negotiating deals where perhaps it's zero rated for certain networks, so it's a lower charge. There is the opportunity to have your content on airlines. Do you know how many airlines there are around the world? Do you know how many destinations they fly to? Do you know how much they're willing to pay for that content? Do you know that there are places that can issue money for you to create content and documentaries in specific regions because they need that content? Are you looking beyond the South African borders? You know, are you collaborating with producers from other countries? So the landscape has changed in such a way that opportunity is the word, but you have to be willing to seek it, use it, and run with it, because we wouldn't be in the spaces that we're in. I mean, Ayabong would have to first wait for someone to commission this thing. It would be sitting as an idea and be like, you know, but here he is, starting, doing. At the point at which a broadcaster says, we've seen this thing online, we want to bring it on TV. You're telling me that Ayabonga's negotiating power has not lifted slightly, as opposed to coming to someone saying, I've got this idea, what, then they tell you, sure, we don't have budget right now, and what, let me tell you something, they do have budget, they just don't have budget for your show. So what are you going to do about that? Start, that's it. I always talk about how there's a fine line between inspiration and envy. And social media has created a space where envy is what thrives over inspiration. Social media is a beautiful place, but also a very dangerous place. So you need to proceed with caution. You know when you have that triangle on the side of the road? Yeah. Creatives are important for any society. We are society's mirror. It is our job to tell society's stories and to hold up that mirror and say, society, this is what you look like right now. Are you proud? Never forget your why. Why you started, why you do what it is that you do, because on the dark days, it's going to be the only thing that remains the light in the room. Stay true to your vision, and whilst you must be stubborn about your goals, be flexible about the method.